Hi Year 4, today we are looking at multiplying two-digit numbers by a one-digit number. I'm going to go through this PowerPoint with you. Make sure you've got some paper next to you to do some working out along the way, and then you'll be ready to answer the questions at the end. Our first question looks like this. Each child has two pairs. How many pairs are there in total? So each child has two, and we have 1, 2, 3 children. So we know that we could write this as a multiplication. 2 times 3. 2 pairs times by 3 children. That will find the total number of pairs that we have. Now today we're going to look at writing our multiplications in the short multiplication. So it looks a little bit like the column method. It's stacked up, but it's a way of us doing our multiplication in a nice, efficient way. So if I was going to draw 2 times 3 into the short multiplication, I would write it like this. My 2 will go at the top, lined up in the ones column, and then directly underneath, below that 2, I'm going to write what I am multiplying by. I am multiplying by 3, times by 3. So I'm going to write times by 3 underneath. And then we draw 2 nice, neat, straight lines. You need to draw these with a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, find a straight object in your house that you can use. The edge of a book or a DVD would work really well. Now that we've got our short multiplication set up, we can calculate our answer. And our answer is going to live inside these 2 straight lines. So we always start with the ones column, and for this multiplication, we only have the ones column. So we just need to work this out. 2 times by 3. 2 times by 3 is 6. So we're going to place that in the ones column directly below. That is my answer. I've finished my multiplication and I can write down that there are 6 pairs in total. Next, we can look at this question. Each class has 20 pairs. How many pairs are there in total? So we still have 1, 2, 3 groups, 3 lots. We're still timesing our number by 3. But instead of having 2 pairs in each group, each class has 20 pairs. So our new multiplication that we need to solve is 20 times by 3. Now when we put this into our short multiplication, we need to be careful about where we are placing our 20. Our 20 needs to be at the top, and it needs to be lined up with the 10s and 1s. I have 2 10s and 0 1s. So when I place this number into my short multiplication, it's going to look like this. Underneath, again, I'm going to write directly below my multiplication what I am timesing by. I am timesing by 3. And then we're going to draw our nice, neat, straight lines. First of all, we are going to calculate the ones column. So I've got 0 times by 3. 0 times by 3 is 0. So I write 0 directly below. Next, I'm going to work out my tens column. I have 2 10s times by 3. 2 times by 3 is 6. So I have 6 10s in my tens column. That gives me the total of 60. There are 60 pairs in total. Our third question looks like this. Each class has 22 pairs. How many pairs are there in total? We could use the calculations we've already worked out to help us solve this. We know that 20 pairs in each class works out as 60 pairs in total, and we know that 2 pairs in each works out as 6 in total. So we could have added those 2 totals together. 60 add 6, and that would have given us the answer 66. But we also could have done it as a total altogether in our short multiplication. So we have 22 times by 3, 3 lots of our 22, and we can write that into our short multiplication. Remembering that 22, our bigger number, is going to go at the top, and then our times by 3 is going to live directly underneath. So we're going to draw that onto our short multiplication. We have 22 lined up with our 10s and 1s. Then underneath, we are going to write times by 3. Then we're going to add in our nice, neat, straight lines, and we can work out the 1s column. So in the 1s column, I've got 2 times by 3. 2 times by 3. Underneath, I can write my answer is 6. Then we're going to work out our 10s column. So I've got 2 10s times by 3. 2 lots of 10 times by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So I've got 6 lots of 10s in the 10s column. That gives me the total of 66. There are 66 pairs in total. As well as using pictures, we can also use a place value chart with Dean's blocks to represent our numbers, to draw them out. So here is my number, 31 times by 3. So I could draw this in a place value chart like this as Dean's blocks. And remember, Dean's blocks, we use one little block for 1, we use a strip of 10 blocks for 10, and then the squares of 100 for 100. So here I've got 3 strips of 10 and 1 cube on its own. So my number is 31. 3 10s and 1 1. 31. But I need 3 lots of 31. So I've done 3 rows going across. 3 lots of my 31. Now I can write this in my short multiplication. Remembering that 31 goes at the top, lined up in the 10s and 1s column. And then we write our times by 3 and draw our straight lines. The 1s column is 1 times by 3. 1 lot of 3 is 3. Then we're going to work out our 10s column. 3 lots of 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so there are 9 10s in that column. That means we have a total of 93. As well as using Dean's blocks then, we can also use place value counters. So here, I've got 10s counters showing you how many 10s I've got, and 1s counters showing you how many 1s I've got. I would like you to pause this video and write out the short multiplication for this pictorial representation. So what number do I have going across? How many 10s, how many 1s? That tells you what my big number is. And then how many lots of that number do I have? How many rows do I have going across? That will tell you what you are timesing your number by. So pause this video and write your short multiplication for this picture. Okay, you should have drawn your short multiplication out. I hope you used a ruler. You should have got 21 multiplied by 4, because I've got 2 10s, 20 and 1 1 1, 21, and I've got 1 2 3 4 rows going across, so I'm timesing by 4. If we work this out then, in my 1s column I've got 1 times by 4. 1 times by 4 is 4. Then we go to our 10s column. 2 10s times by 4. 2 times by 4 is 8. So I've got 8 10s. If you got that right, give yourself a big tick. When you work for your questions, when you come to the end, you will see a question like this. This is asking you to find the missing numbers. What numbers go in these squares? Now to do this, we need to work backwards a little bit. We have got our answer and we need to work out what numbers times together to make that answer. What numbers might they be? So first of all, we're going to look at the 1s column. My answer, my total of the 1s column was 8. When I worked it out, the total was 8. So I need to think backwards. What 2 numbers times together to make 8? In my head, I'm thinking, what different multiplications can I do? I know that 4 and 2 times together to make 8. 4 and 2. So I'm going to have a go at writing 4 and 2 into these squares above 8, because I know 4 times 2 equals 8. So I'm going to place them directly above. 4 and 2. And now I need to work out my diagonal. I'm working out my tens column. Because remember, whatever number we have here times by 4 is going to be the number we are timesing this number by as well. So we need to think, what number times by 4 equals 6? Because that is the total answer we have below. 4 times what equals 6? Now I'm going to pause it there because it just got ahead of us a little bit. So 4 times something equals 6. Well, I know that my 6, my 60, is in the 4 times table, but I can't fit 2 numbers in this square. I can only fit 1 number. So I can't do something times by 4 because it would be too big to fit in that square. So instead, we're going to look again at what I do. So I worked out 2 and 4 are the different multiples that can go in these squares. But I can't times something by 4 to get my 6. So what I'm going to do instead is swap these numbers over. 2 and 4 times together to make 8, but that doesn't mean I put them in the right squares. I can swap these over and still get the answer 8. So let's have a go at doing that. Swapping my 4 and my 2. So instead of now 4 times 2, I've got 2 times 4, which means I'm timesing this number as well by 2, because that's the new multiplication that I'm doing. Can we do something times by 2 equals 6 or 60? Yes, we can. We can times our number by a 3 tens, which is 30. We have checked our short multiplication and it is correct, which means we have found the right missing numbers. 4 times 2 equals 8 and 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 tens. 68 is our total answer. Remember this when you are working through your questions. Sometimes you might find the right numbers, but you might need to swap them over and keep playing around until you get the exact combination that you need.